guess we'll just go to kick it off. Guys, my name is Brant Swindle, coming at you live from Jacksonville, Florida. Fired up out of my mind. So many good things happening, guys. I just want to, first and foremost, just say how grateful I am to be on the call. What an honor it is. Every time Andy Albright asks me to do a call like this, I get a little bit nervous, but I get a little bit fired up because I know it makes me better, and I know I bring some value to the table, and I hope I can encourage you and help you change your business the way this has changed my business. Today we're talking about ERS calls, the emergency response system. And guys, if you are out there picking up checks, helping families, putting them in a better place, getting them the protection that they've asked for, I will tell you, make this a habit, okay? Because everything in life is habitual. Like where your habits are now are going to create your future. So if you're going in helping these families out, they're basically saying, hey, we like you. Hey, we trust you. Hey, here's our information. Here's our social. Here's our bank account. We're signing all the documentation to get this protection. Don't overstep the fact that you've built the credibility to get referrals, right? And so it's funny because Jason and Tawny Carey did a call. This is back in like 2013, right when I started. And it was called Referrals Made Easy as ABC. It's on NAA-TV. I highly recommend you go back and listen to it. You'll probably find it comical how close my script is to what Jason Carey uses. And now with Lee Reyes, Megan Woods out there crushing it using ERS as well, and all the top producers and top leaders out there, they've really just taken what's already been created and followed suit. And that's what I love about this business. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just copy. Just copy what's been laid out. What we found out is that an ERS, an emergency response system, not only is it's a great value to the client, right? It's something that actually provides a service for the client later on down the road. I actually just got a call a few weeks ago of a client of mine had died. The ERS person that I called was like their contingent beneficiary. I wasn't able to help them out with coverage, but the crazy thing is when the dad passed away, the contingent beneficiary called me and let me know. We got the claim filed. Well, she ended up getting some of that money, and it was kind of a crazy thing, but we ended up helping her out with an annuity because of it. And so really what you're doing, it's kind of like setting up a network of people that can contact you if something ever happens to the client. And for every person that we set up the ERS with, we get them to lock in our name and number into their phone. And so what I do, I kind of use a Jane Hill approach. I put, my name is Insurance Brant. I'll tell them, my last name's Swindle, like the country music singer. No, there's no relation, but I wish there was. But Brant Swindle, and go ahead and save me under Insurance Brant. And that way, if you ever have any insurance questions, give me a call. We don't just do life, we do health, we do retirement planning, tax-free retirement, and guaranteed income streams as well. So if you ever have a question like that in the future, feel free to reach out to me. I get so many calls on a weekly basis. I've been doing this business almost 8 years, and I have 4,200 clients, give or take. And I probably get on average 8 to 10 calls a week of people that just need additional coverage, or their sister needs coverage, or their brother just got coverage and we want to save them some money. Already today, I've had I'm at 2,800 AP from this emergency response system. And so what you're doing is for every family that you help, you're spreading out your network. It's kind of like in recruiting, it's kind of like calling a warm list, a warm market list. What you're doing is dropping down, creating depth, right? And so if I help Bob and Mary out and I get a list of 10 people that are in their network that can contact us, if God forbid anything ever happens to them, now these people know my name and number and they can contact me if they ever need anything. And so that adds up. Every house you think, if I can get 20, I get 20 in every house. If I can get, bare minimum, I'm going to get 10 though. That the way I kind of explain it, I still use my ATM. This is my original ATM from March of 2013. And the funny thing is, I still have my original setup. I got my pages are kind of starting to fall apart a little bit, but it's funny because I'm simple. I just use the system, right? So I go through the ATM, right? If you guys have not seen my NAA University course 1, 2, 3, I go through in detail exactly how to break this down, what I'm doing in the house, what I'm saying, how I'm connecting with a client to build rapport, and really that trust is very important. So take your time, love the one you're with. We always talk about it. Jason Carey jokes about it. You know, the Bruce Almighty quote: "A bird in the hand is better than two in the bush." Well, the reality is it's true. When you're in the house, you've got a bird in the hand. You don't want to discard this client and this family for the next appointment, which may not even be there, right? And so take your time, go through the entire ATM. I go through all the way through the ATM, okay? Once we did their quotes. I don't know if you guys can see that. We did their quotes, we got their options, we got them set up. The next page is emergency response system, okay? It's funny because we used to use this page. We would just print out a bunch of these and put them in our folder. And Jason and Tawny came up with a great idea. They're like, why don't we put it more of like a log with 20 options? So here's what we use now. I got my application folder in my ATM. And this you can find under advanced resources on NAA University. And this is simple. It's just an emergency response system log. And it has name, first, last name, relationship, phone number, city. Really, I don't care about the full address. City and state works. And then you could check on there if they're the beneficiary, their ERS, if you gave them prescription cards, which is another good reminder to get referrals there. And, you know, it's funny, this call is about ERS, but I would say more than anything, it's about asking for referrals. The number one reason why people don't get referrals is they're simply not asking. And from the start, we decided to build a business off referrals. You know, that's the way we were trained to build a business, and that's the way we decided to follow the system and just keep building off warm market and keep building off referrals. And I mean, I was going through some of the referral trees. I'm 20 deep on some referrals. I just helped. This is just last week. I helped a lady named Rose out, who was a referral who had called me. We got an ERS from Rose and helped her sister Jackie out. Jackie's sister-in-law Karen, we helped her out, who had a daughter named Alice, who we helped out, whose brother we helped out named Kevin, who had 3 kids, and we helped all them out. So that one deal, we always say leads don't die, they multiply, right? If you can grasp the fact that every person that you touch, we can help. I like what Eric Belair says, you know, like he tells people everywhere he goes what he does and how he can help them. And the reality is what we're doing is we're helping people save money on their insurance. We're helping people plan for their retirement. So kind of give you a little bit of like groundwork first, and then I'll show you how simple this is. I would venture to guess this call is going to be a pretty quick and short call, maybe one that you could reference while you're in the field and listen to over and over again. But it's simple. So when you get to this page, okay, keep in mind, emergency response page, it's right there glaring you in the face. You can't forget it. And trust me, you're going to want to sometimes get out of the house because you got the sale, you got the check, everything's good. You want to get out of there. Slow down a minute and pick up the ERS. I promise you it'll change your business. So here's how you do it. I slide this page over to them, okay? And here's what I say simply, and this is true, because if you think of this as a gimmick to get referrals, they're going to read right through your body language and they're going to realize that you're just trying to get referrals, okay? I really try, in my mind, I really try to look at this as genuinely a service to make sure if anything ever happens to Bob and Mary, that check gets paid out to their beneficiaries. Because here's the reality, and this is the story I say. Let's say Bob and Mary, which happens to be my mom and dad, but let's just say I'm sitting down with Bob and Mary and I say, all right, so Bob and Mary, we got you set up. We got the mortgage protection. Anything happens to either of you guys, the mortgage is paid off, right? Now, God forbid you're coming home from a date night, okay? And a teenager texting and driving isn't looking, you know, it's a Friday night. Maybe they had a couple drinks. even though they're teenagers, that, believe it or not, it's very common, especially where we live. People texting and driving, drinking and driving, it's crazy, right? And that driver runs you off the road, you hit a telephone pole, and both of you are killed on impact. Okay. Now, I hope and pray that doesn't happen, but God forbid it does. How am I supposed to know that you passed away? How is Mutual of Omaha or Foresters or CFG supposed to know that you passed away? And the reality is, in the state of Florida, there's a stat out there. It says there's $25 million of unclaimed life insurance money. And it's not that the insurance companies don't want to pay the claim. It's simply that they don't know. They don't have anybody to let them know. And so what we're required to do is set up an emergency response system that basically sets a network of people that can contact me. Anything ever happens to you, so we can file the claim, we can take care of all the paperwork, and we can make sure the checks get paid out to your loved ones. Okay, does that make sense? And they're like, absolutely. And so here's what I say. The way it's set up, it's required to do 10. Okay, and I put my fingers up like this. Jason Carey taught me this, kind of like spirit fingers type thing. You want to get 10, okay? And here's why. We can do more. We just can't do less, because here's the reality. In 2, 5, 7, 15 years down the road, things get misplaced. Policies go missing. Numbers, cell phones die, numbers go missing, whatever. Well, what we want to do is we want to set up your network with these 10 people that you love and trust enough to contact us if something ever happens to you. And I only have a chance, really only have time to maybe call them 2, maybe 3 times. And of the 10, maybe only 5 of them actually pick up the phone, right? And of the 5, maybe only 2 or 3 are in a place where they can write that information down. And in 15 years from now, maybe only 1 or 2, and I wiggle my fingers like this. This is what Jason Carey taught me to do, and it works. Maybe only 1 or 2 actually call us. We just don't know which 1 or 2. So who's the first person you want on your list? And I take my pen, I put my pen on the paper, and I look down and I wait. I don't see if they're, going to give me names. I wait. And typically the first 4 or 5 are real easy to get. You won't have any kickback on the first 4 or 5. Okay. And if you're doing this right, typically about the 4th or 5th one, they're going to go, that's about all I know. I can't really think of anybody else. Here's the temptation. The temptation is to go, you know what? No big deal. Let them off the hook. It's all good. We got 4. We're good to go. Right. Let me encourage you. This is the point where you need to help them find more people. And what the easiest way I've found out to do this is say, well, I'm the same way. I can't even remember my own cell phone number half the time, much less my mom or my dad's. Tell you what, why don't you grab your cell phone and we'll go through your contact list so we can at least complete the required 10. And so they grab their cell phone. Now we're sitting down, and I kind of engage in the banter back and forth. If Bob and Mary are like, oh, no, that's Eric. He's irresponsible. He doesn't have, whatever. I'll listen to the banter, and typically I'll be like, oh, okay, well, Eric sounds good. What's Eric's number? And we start filling it out. So once I complete at least 10, I'm going to wait until I actually get 10. And sometimes I'll even take their phone and go through. If they let me grab their phone, I'll do as many as they'll let me do. Because the reality is I want to make sure that those checks get paid out to their beneficiaries. So the more the merrier. And I'll explain to them what I'm going to do. I'm going to call them once. I'm going to leave my information on their voicemail if they don't pick up. I'm going to ask them to save my number because I am your insurance agent, and they need to have that information to contact me if anything ever happens. It's very important. And so we fill out all 10, 20 names on here. Okay. Now, here's what I found out, and our team right now is killing it on ERS. Referrals, I'm actually just about to meet with a guy. He just wrote 3 applications today, all off referrals. And so it's cool because when you implement this into your business and you make it a habit, your people will follow the same system and they'll create the same habit. And so referrals are huge. So what you do now that you get them, the second part is you actually have to call them. It's funny because I used to be the guy that would collect 10 ERS in every house, and I would have 500 ERS sitting on my desk, and I would never call them. And so, you know, I'm at the point now in our business where it's all referral based. I mean, everything that we do is from referrals. I actually paid $51,000 last month, and that was no leads at all. And, you know, the reason I tell you that is because we want to teach you how to build a profitable business, not how to be a lead junkie that needs leads every week, you know? And to do that, you do have to take leads, a lot of leads to ramp it up. At one point I was taking, you can even ask the lead performance team, I was taking, you know, 50 A leads a week at one point. I mean, just crazy amount. We're running 40 appointments a week, taking 50 leads a week. And we talked about running 40 appointments. This is only going to help those numbers go up, right? I can't imagine trying to run 40 appointments a week like we're doing without getting referrals. It's just crazy. You're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies, right? So the next question is, well, okay, Brant, great, sounds good. I could probably get 10 ERS. What are you saying when you call these people? Well, it's less of a script and it's more of a mindset. So when I'm calling an ERS, the first thing I got to do is I got to check my heart, check my mind. Am I just trying to make sales, or I'm actually trying to set up the ERS for what it's for, right? And if you're doing it right, you'll have no problem. People, it's crazy. They can read your intentions from a mile away, and if you're doing it right, people would be a lot more receptive to actually booking an appointment, sitting down with you. So here's kind of the quote unquote mindset script. Here's kind of basic how it goes. So it would go like this. Let's say I'm calling, and I'm just making up that name, Eric. I don't even know who Eric is, but Eric. I'm calling Eric, and they were on Bob and Mary's ERS. So it sounded like this: ring, ring. He says hello. I say, hey, Eric. He says, hey. I say, this is Brant Swindle. My name probably doesn't ring a bell to you, but I was just sitting down with your good friends Bob and Mary. Do you know Bob and Mary? And he would go, yeah. And I would say, well, first off, I just want to let you know, I'm their life insurance agent, and everything is fine. No problems, nothing like that, nothing to worry about. But I do need to let you know, you were somebody they selected as an emergency responder if something ever happens to them. And what that looks like, Eric, is we set up this system. I simply give you my name, my number, and my contact. You save it in your phone, and if anything ever happens to Bob or Mary, what they're saying is they love you and trust you enough just to give me a call, shoot me a text, just let me know if anything ever happens to them so that we can file the claim and take care of their insurance paperwork. Make sure that the checks get paid out to their loved ones. Does that make sense? 9 times out of 10, no questions, absolutely no problem. We have them save it in their phone, just program it right in their cell phone. All right, save it in. Here's my number, 904-333-3790. My name is Brant Swindle, like the country music singer. No, there's no relation. I wish there was. Make a little, joke that they remember. And then I will say at the end, I will say, great, so any questions you have for me at all? Does everything make sense? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, no problems, no questions. And I'll say real quick, hey, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? No problem there. Always, yeah, sure, what's up? Well, like I helped Bob and Mary save money on their life insurance, I was just wondering, do you have current life insurance in place yourself? Doesn't matter what they say. Yes, no, maybe, don't matter, okay? I'm really not concerned if they have it or if they don't at this point. I followed up with another question. Do you have a retirement plan set up in place? Yes, no, maybe, whatever, soon, whatever they say, it doesn't matter. So they've answered 2 questions. And then I say this, I just say, well, listen, just like I helped Bob and Mary out and I helped them save money on their life insurance, one thing that I would like to do is take 10, 15 minutes and kind of go through your options and get a clean, fresh look at what your situation looks like. Would you be interested in sitting down and going through that? Here's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for interest, okay? I'm not looking for, somebody who's like, yeah, let me tell you my whole life story right now. All I'm looking for is a little bit of interest. And here's what I say. I just say, well, all I can do right now is the same thing that I did for Bob and Mary, which is sit down for 10, 15 minutes and go through your options. Tell me a little bit more about your schedule. And then I book an appointment. Sometimes you'll find before I can even get to booking the appointment, people will just throw up all over you and tell you everything about their life, and they'll tell you how much they need insurance and how it's a divine appointment that you're calling and such a blessing, and that's awesome. And I get fired up. I would say maybe 2 or 3 out of 10 are going to be like that, and those are the layups, right? It was kind of funny. I had $120,000 annuity come from an ERS, and the guy didn't need any insurance at all, but I asked about retirement, and he's like, yeah, I have some money in the market. And I said, do you still have any money at risk in the market for loss? And he was like, yeah, I still have a lot of money out there. And he goes, I just lost 34% in one of my accounts. And I said, well, the only thing I can do at this point is sit down with you maybe 10, 15 minutes and kind of look at your situation and go through your options. And sure enough, we sat down, we did a $120,000 annuity. So here's what I'm saying. It's kind of like calling a warm market list. You're not trying to hard close people, because these are not leads. These are friends. These are family members. These are relationships. Like, at all costs, keep the relationship, right? Worst case scenario, you helped 20 people put your contact, your name and your number in their phone, and if they ever need anything, they have a person to call, right? That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you get a huge annuity, you help them out with life insurance, you come back for IULs, you get their Medicare set up. There's so many things. It's amazing the way the HMAs that we have now, the way our business is set up. It's a people business, right? So if you build relationships and you do a good job, it's the gift that keeps on giving. And so I'm not trying to hard close them on appointment. I'm really just trying to get them some options and see if they're interested. And I've kind of found the numbers usually are about 2 to 3 for every 10 I book an appointment with. And you'll be able to tell if somebody's interested. A lot of times they'll start telling you a story about how they had coverage and it lapsed, and then COVID happened. They've been freaking out, and they really need something, but the other guy that helped them isn't there anymore. And so they tried to call the company, and they give you this whole runaround. You say, well, hey, the only thing I can do, just learn this phrase. This phrase will help you. The only thing I can do right now is sit down with you for 10 or 15 minutes, just like I did with Bob and Mary, and kind of go through your options. Tell me a little bit more about your schedule and book them in for an appointment. I will tell you this. There has never been a better time to start doing ERS. If you're not doing them right now, with the incentives that Albright's rolling out, with the bonuses, the new pack, oh my gosh, it's crazy. The new levels chart. This has changed our entire business. And my hope and prayer for you is that if there's a skill you can add to your arsenal, it's how to get good at getting referrals. There's a book out there called The Referral of a Lifetime. And I think more than anything, just reading that book made me realize how important our business is to build relationships and get referrals and following up with your clients. The new CRM, that client relationship manager that we have, that's under ARC, it's the best in the business. I've never seen a CRM. My work every single week, I have this week I have 64 conversions to call, right? Just this week. And I have 128 birthdays, right? And so it's like my work's cut out for me every week. I can just pop up on ARC and look at my CRM and say, hey, here's what I got to do. And if you're brand new and you're just getting started with us and you're like, hey, I'm not there yet. I have, 2 clients on the books, or I haven't even made a sale yet. I got one guy who's on the call. His name's Chris. He's fired up out of his mind. He's taking his test Monday. He's probably going, I don't have a client yet. Well, this is the habit to develop now. If you can get in the mindset of every single house, I have to get 10 referrals, you are going to build a book of business so much faster. And it's cool because referrals breed referrals. It's crazy. A lead turning into a referral is one thing, but a referral naturally turns into another referral. Because just like I was telling you about Karen and Jackie and Alice and Kevin and Jordan and all those guys, that was because it started as a referral. So in their mind, they're thinking this is how it works. And naturally the gift just keeps on giving. And that's the pattern you want your clients to think on, is it's a referral based system. And I say that all the time. The biggest compliment in the world is a referral. It's something that, if I do a good enough job that you're willing to send me to your friend or your family member that you love and trust and you want to make sure they're taken care of as well, it's a huge compliment. It's a huge pat on the back to us. One other thing I want to give you a big tip too. Let's say you're like me and you're in the field, you're running 40 appointments a week and you're nonstop, right? One thing that will help with ERS, once you get your whole form filled out, okay, I simply ask this. I just say, hey, we're going to get this ERS system set up, but I do want to ask you, before I call these guys, is there anybody on this list that you can think of that would benefit from the information you received today? And a lot of people will think about it and they're like, yeah, my brother Joe doesn't have any coverage. I'll put a star by Joe. I'll say, okay, awesome. No problem. I'll make sure to mention it when I call him. Anybody else on here? Oh, yeah, my sister, Janine doesn't have any coverage either. Can you give her a call as well? Oh, my neighbor, Pat, he needs coverage. He was talking about it recently. So take your time to not just get the ERS, but pre-qualify them a little bit too. Here's another good question. Hey, if God forbid something happened to someone in your family, who would you be responsible for helping chip in on the funeral cost? Think about that for yourself for a second. If you're a new agent getting started with us, I guarantee there's people in your warm market that if they passed away tomorrow, you'd be coming off the hip helping pay for their funeral costs, or you'd be the one helping, chip in on the GoFundMe, right? And here's the reality. People don't want to have to pay for that. If I can help them pay for their own coverage, don't you think they're going to be a lot happier knowing that their friends and their family are protected, so they're not having to chip in if something happens? So I'm on their side when I ask them this question, but I just say, hey, think about it for a second. If somebody in your family passed away, who would you have to chip in, or who would you be responsible for paying for the funeral? And typically it's their mom, it's their dad, it's their estranged brother, it's one of their kids, somebody that they hadn't really thought of, but they're like, I didn't really think about this, but something happened to Joe, I'd be the one that would have to pay for it, the funeral costs. And so here's what I say. I just say, hey, well, there's two ways of going about it. We can wait until you have to pay for it, or I can call him up and see if we can get him to get his own protection, see if we can't save him some money. Maybe he tried in the past and couldn't get covered, or maybe he couldn't afford it. But one of the things we specialize in is making sure that we can get them covered, solve the problem, and fit it in the budget. Do you mind if I reach out to them? I mean, nobody complains with that. I get their names, numbers. So I'm doing the ERS. I'm asking for referrals, right? I'm even pre-qualifying family members that they would have to pay for the funeral. Then I do the prescription cards. The prescription cards are awesome. If you don't have those cards, they work. My wife just used it. She got a prescription recently, and it cut the prescription in half. So we keep one in our own wallet when we go fill prescriptions. But I had a lady, she was paying, it was like $72 a month for a glaucoma eye drop. It knocked it down to $13 a month. So get yourself those prescription cards. And what you do with those is you just simply say, hey, this is a service that our company does for our members, right? I'm wearing my Alliance shirt, and I have the Alliance prescription card on it. I think I have one. It's not too big. If you haven't seen what they look like, you can go on NAA University. But it's just a simple prescription card. It says the Alliance on it. And what you say is, hey, we get to sponsor up to 4 people to discount their prescription costs. Do you know anybody who could use some savings on prescriptions? And it's free. And then I'll give them one, and I'll sponsor 4 people. So every house I walk out of, bare minimum, I get 10 ERS, 4 or 5 qualified referrals, maybe 1 or 2 family members that need coverage, and then 4 prescription cards. So we're looking at right about 20 referrals in every appointment. So you imagine if you're helping on average 10 families a week, and you're getting 20 referrals per family, you can see how quickly that adds up. And the biggest problem you're going to have is calling all of them. I mean, that's really the problem, is you get to a point where it's like, I have so many people to call all the time. It's crazy, right? And it's a great problem to have. It's a huge blessing that we are so busy, that Andy and Jane Albright have created a company and a system to keep us where that passive residual income's coming in, the product residuals are coming in, the team passive income is coming in, and then nonstop referrals all day long, right? I can't tell you what a blessing that is when you are so thrilled to have referrals coming in all the time and you have people that need more coverage. That's free profitability. And one of the biggest things I want to do for you and your business is show you how to increase your profitability and increase your paycheck as quickly as possible. Now, for those of you that are just getting started, it's going to start with leads as well. So don't take what I said about, oh, I did 51,000 without any leads. That's 8 years into the business, right? Take yourself, prime your pump, get yourself a healthy big batch of leads, get that referral system rolling, and I would say keep it on longer than you think you need it, right? Just keep leads flowing in, keep referrals flowing in, and my biggest thing now is like we're giving those emergency responses away to the team to call, getting people started. And with the COVID now, with virtual appointments, with them opening it up to a lot of these telesale applications, you can work from anywhere, right? I mean, I'm in my truck now, but this is like my rolling office. I can do anything from my truck, and it's a huge blessing nowadays to capitalize on being able to use that virtual side as well. So I knew this would be a little bit short of a call. I'm out in the field making it happen right now. So one of the biggest things I want to leave you with is it's worth it to keep moving forward. Keep trying to get better, right? Learn something new about the business every day. Keep plugging into the conference calls, and listen to audio when you're on the road, right? That podcast, activity calls, TWC, go back, re-listen, learn what the top producers are doing, and duplicate, just copy, and make sure you're having fun, make sure you're making money, make sure you're making a difference. Guys, I love you guys. I hope this changes your business as it has changed mine. I pray massive blessings. 2020 is going to be your best year ever, and it's going to keep getting better and better. Love you guys. Let me know if you need anything. Appreciate y'all. Talk to you soon.